it. I'll put this. I'll put this right here until I need it. Hold on 1 second, family. I'm gonna give you all some time to get in. And while you all are getting in, I'm going to run one errand real quick. No, you're not. Hi, family. I'm in here. Hi, family. All right, let's turn this down. Where can I put this? How can I? Because if I put it under here, see, I gotta move this over. And I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but I didn't really have the time to do it. But I have to move this over. And I don't know how this is gonna be, but I'm gonna try because I need my space. Hi, family. I just cut up a watermelon, family, and of course, you know, I was busting one of those watermelon pieces down, right? I had to have me a slice, but my papa and them wanted watermelon, so I said, let me cut that watermelon up. Hi, family. Hi, who's this? Hi, Juicy B. Hi, Ask for Mo. Hi, Still I Rise. I'm sorry, family. I'm really trying to see this little writing back there. Hi, Big Jack. Hi, family. I see you all. Hi, all in the cards. All right, family. I want to do a chit chat before I jump into the readings. So I'm going to try to make this fast. First of all, family, I want to say a few things. I did a reading on the young girl Trinity. I had comments that was just crazy. You all could go and look at it because you all know I don't take comments down. If it depends, right? I'll take a comment down if I feel that you are being very rude and disrespectful, right? I may take it down. Or if you just say something like BS, but no explanation, right? I'll take it down, right? So the comments is up there. You all could go look at it for your leisure. But I'm going to say this, family. At no point did I say any of the accounts did not happen, right? Regarding the case with this young baby Trinity, okay? But what I am saying, other things played out. I cannot control the energy that has come out. I can't control that, right? I've said this time and time again, and I think I have to go back to reiterating a lot of things that I used to say before doing a read, right? I have no control over what comes out in the reading, but I must still speak of it if it comes out. What good am I as a messenger if something come out and I'm not speaking of what has come out? What does this have to do with the case, some ask, Miss T? Is background information the spiritual realm want those to know, right? Because those who are missing, those who are deceased, they still want their messages heard. That's what it has to do with the case. They're still speaking from beyond. That's what's going on. All right, family? So I apologize if it wasn't what you wanted it to be. But it is things that I must bring to light, right? Regardless if that's what I want it to be or what I don't want it to be, right? I was kind of disturbed and heartbroken by a lot of the things that came out myself, but I still had to relay it as a messenger. Okay, family? So I want to make that clear. At no point in time am I'm trying to, degrade anybody during a reading, make light of a situation during a reading, bash anybody, right? For anything that they did or didn't do during a reading. No, that's not my intentions, and it never was my intention, and never will be my intentions, right? My intention, to do that. So I want to make that clear, all right, family, because I have people that's coming in my comment section, and they may say, I'm unfollowing you because of this and that. Bye. I don't owe you a damn thing, and you don't owe me a damn thing. Goodbye. You understand? Because I feel like with the energy that you utilize to type that, you could have just unfollowed. I tell folks about going visiting people's houses, and when you don't like the things that they do, you keep going back. Or you keep going back with negative comments. Why go back? Right? Why go back? Just to come and bring negative feedback? Please stop it. Because you're barking up the wrong tree, okay? So some people, right, the ones that just come up there and say, BS, I just block you, right? Because what you're saying is irrelevant, right? If you didn't take, but those who left a comment, if you said BS but left your opinion, no, that's still up there, and I didn't block you. Because you're entitled. I say give feedback, but be respectful. So I'm not gonna block you for giving your feedback. You go. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with me. I'm not gonna block you. But if you come up there with negative energy, yeah, you may get blocked. Right? So I just want to say that, family. Okay? Too much nonsense going around, and I don't have time for it. Nobody said at any point in time that because what happened in this case, this person is a bad parent, this person is a bad father, this person is a bad mother, this person is a bad auntie, this person is a bad uncle. You understand? And if I'm giving my opinion of something, all right, aside from the messages, if I'm giving an opinion of something that I would do, please don't take that as the message that has come out, right? That's my personal opinion. Because I know that I've made a statement in there about my personal opinion of me as a parent, right? I've stated that, right? I would for my children, I would die. I would die for my children, right? But that don't mean everybody else will, right? So don't take what I'm saying personally and apply it to the reading. All right, family? All right. Now that we got that out. Okay. And yes, I am going to do a second read on this baby Trinity. Let me make sure, let me pull up her name, make sure I got her name correct. Hold on, family, because you all know. And I'm also, okay, let's see. Okay, Trinity Esinger. All right, so this is going to be, oh, family, because why I can't pull this up? Can anybody, if anybody can, pull up the name of my 2 missing children that I was reading for out of Canada. That was another case. Today, family, I do want to go in, excuse me, I do want to go in with my history deck just to get a little background information on both cases, right? And again, I'm going to say this, family, I have no control over what comes out. The other day when I did scribe over this baby Trinity Esinger, I did see water. Okay, I seen water, I seen big rocks, and I seen some sand. Okay, I'm not doubting that something happened in the water. Okay, something happened out there. But I also know, like I said before in my reading, something happened to this baby's head, right? I felt the brush and it was hard. It was excruciating pain go all the way across her head like that, right? I don't know if that's her getting tugged under something. I don't know. That's what I felt, okay? So I'm just going to leave that there. So some would ask, Missy, what does have to do with the reading and where she at? That's where she's at, in the water or over some rocks or something, okay? Maybe pinned down by something or under something, okay? Because that's where I felt the most of the pressure is on the right side coming across her head, right? All right, let's go into... Thank you for that. All in the cards. Thank you for that, Asia. Yes. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Yes. Thank you. Sharon said, I'd like to see you coming. Please do one on 10-year-old little in Destine, Florida. Is she in water? Okay. All right, Sharon. That's what I'm getting ready to do now. All in the card says, so sad how people look at the video and then judge. Just don't watch. Log off. Yes, and that's how I feel because, family, I'm very short on drama. I have no family that been following me for a long time. You already know. I don't do the drama. I will block you in a minute. If you come over here and put crazy comments in the comment section, if you come over here and disrespect me and my family, I will block you. And I may even do the okie dokie on you. I'm telling you, you're barking up the wrong tree. Do not come over here with that. All right? So I'm just saying, please don't. All right? If you don't like it, the best thing is to log off. Right? It's okay. If you feel like you need to unsubscribe, that's okay too. If you feel like you need to support me, that's fine. If you feel like you need to thumbs up the video, thank you. If you feel like you need to thumbs down the video, that's okay too. If you feel like another spiritual reader or messenger or psychic is better than me, that's okay. I'm not in no competition with nobody. I got love for all my spiritual family. I'm not in no competition. You understand? That's fine. All right, I'm getting into this reading, family, with Trinity, 10-year-old missing from Florida. Trinity Esinger, family. Everything that I pull out is allegedly, family. I don't know these folks, Okay, family, I'm going to say it again, right? But we are praying. We are praying for her return, right? Her safe return. It doesn't matter how the situation may look. We still pray for the best outcome. We're praying for her family. We don't stop praying, right? For the safe return of individuals when they are missing, okay? We don't stop praying for the family. Even when they do return, we still don't stop praying because something happened while they were gone. Even if they do come back and everything seems to be okay, something happened while they were gone. They were gone for a reason, right, family? Because that's another thing. People seem to think because somebody been missing for 2 days and 3 days and 5 days, but oh no, they home, they fine. That they're fine. Everything is not fine. It was a reason why this person was missing for 5 days without letting anybody know where they were, without getting in contact with anybody. Things are going on in the background that we don't know. And that's why the spiritual realm bring things to the light, things that's hidden, secrets that's being kept, things that people trying to deceive us about. I have no control over what come out, family, so please, don't shoot the messenger. Again, like I said, when I did scroll over this baby, I did see the water. I did see some bulky rocks. I did see some sand, so it was kind of getting to like shallow water. So it lets me know that it may be some rocks over there. So it may be getting to like shallow area at some point. Clarity into the situation. All right, this is the second reading on Trinity Esinger, family. Right here I have the suicidal, and please, family, those of you all who watched the first reading, please go and compare. Please put messages together that has already come out, because obviously that's something that the ancestral realm really want us to pay attention to. Whenever you have repeated messages, that's something that they are hitting on, they're tugging on, and they really want you to pay attention to that. So I got the suicidal. I believe I got the suicidal on her last one. Okay? The suicidal just lets me know, yes, somebody's suicidal. They mental process, right? Somebody could have committed suicide, but it just lets me know about some things that you have done in here. Okay? Your role that you played in here. Okay? You see the suicidal, you see this caretaker that we got to take a deeper look into, and you see the nude. It's some violations going on in here. And I have to look at everybody's mental well-being, first of all right? But the ancestor said, take a deeper look into this caretaker. Whoever the caretaker may be, right? Take a deeper look into this caretaker, right? I don't know, family. Can you all see the messages? Messages. Trinity Esinger, like. the PSYOP. Family, I tell you about the PSYOP, right? I want you to know about the PSYOP because the PSYOP is people playing mental games. They play mind games. Not only that, I have to look at psychological issues going on because the PSYOP tell us about neural things, psychological issues, people playing mind games on you. So when the PSYOP is out, it lets us know that people makes you believe one thing when it's really another, right? They'll tell you one thing, but it's really another, right? All right, pay attention to the PSYOP. You see the PSYOP in the celebration? Here's the celebrate. Here's the PSYOP in this. Here's the caretaker. So I have to look at this. You understand, family? Because they will tell you one thing that they may be celebrating, but something could have been going on for a very different reason. Okay? That's all. Right? That's all. Right? People tell us what they want to tell us, but the spiritual realm is saying it's a PSYOP in this celebration. It's a PSYOP in what was going on. Right? Take a deeper look at the caretaker in here. So it's something more was going on. Okay? And you all know, family, when I do a children's spread, when I do a reading for a child, I can pick up a lot of their parents' energy as well because they are connected to them, okay? Here's the violence. You see, Mom, and here's the suicidal. Something is going on, okay? That's all this is letting me know that I got some things going on, okay? Some things going on. And I got to look at my own personal life. You see the birth? Look at the time frame. Timing is everything. And look at the violations. It's just the violations is just deception or whatever secrets that may be going on in there. That's what these violations is. So I got birth parent, right? Somebody's connected in here. Even new beginnings for somebody who's looking for the timing to do something, okay? But whatever it is, it may be a secret, okay? Maybe deception. Something's going on in here because these are secrets. And one would say, what does this have to do with this baby and where she is? The spiritual realm is going to bring out things, family. And it may... You know, and that's for us to get an understanding of why things led up to what it did, or why things happened the way it did, or why somebody did what they did, or why this didn't happen. You understand? Because now you can get an understanding of some background information. That's all. Right? Let's see. Ancestor said, confirmation, confirmation, confirmation to look at this caretaker. Confirmation. I have some neglect. So it's negligence on somebody's behalf. That's a violation. That's a secret. That's some deception. Look at the serpent in here. That's the serpent energy that's telling me that. Look at the serpent and look at this person's mental process in here. Look what's going on. Look at the harm in here that they causing. And Ancestor said, yes, confirmation. I got neglect in here. I got negligence. So when I did the first spread, it was a reason why the spiritual realm, even though I didn't want that to come out, and I expressed in there that that's not what I was looking for. Right? But it seemed like people got into their feelings and they took it a whole nother way. I have no control over what comes out. Okay? I'm just a messenger. All I'm doing is reading the message. That's it. Right? Here's the PSYOP. Because somebody's playing mind games on the energy that they possess, even that day, or even how they felt towards someone. Somebody got some ill will in here as well, for whatever reason, okay? It looked like something happened in here, all right? So somebody have a shift of energy because something had been going on in here already. So it could be, for instance, and I'm not saying this is the case, I am going to go for clarity in here. But for instance, if somebody had an argument, because violence come in different ways. It doesn't always have to be physical. It could be verbal, right? It could be emotional. Whatever that they're doing in there. If somebody throw your things all over the place, that's violence. You understand? So it's just telling me that something happened in here, right? And this could be an argument or whatever that mom had with someone, okay? And I got to look at mom's mental process, right? Maybe she got anger or whatever, so may not be mentally there, or the person or whatever, okay? But they holding two energies, so they may feel one way 1 minute towards the person, and the next minute they feel a different way towards the person, okay? That's all. Ancestor said the psyop in the celebration, yes. That is correct. Confirmation. So somebody in here said that they was going to celebrate something, but that wasn't the case. You understand? That's what's going on. That's what the ancestors are saying. So it's some deception in here. All right? And what somebody is saying. So it's kind of like, just say, somebody said, oh, we were celebrating a birthday, but that's really not the case. It could have been something else. You could have been celebrating something really to make up because something happened earlier that day or the day before or whatever. You understand? So now you want to put people at ease, so you want to do this celebration and do this, right? And it could be a last minute thing. It could be something that had been planned for a day or two. You understand? I hope I'm making sense. If you don't understand, put it in the comments, okay? You see the birth. You see the new beginnings. Look at the time. Here's the neglect, and here's the new. So I got somebody in here that's connected to these violations and the negligence that happened. That's all. I have somebody who is responsible for the negligence that happened to Trinity. That's what this is saying. Okay? All right. All right, let's go in here. Family, the neglect, the negligence, the violations, could be anything, right? The neglect just tells me that you fail to care for someone properly. Someone or something you fail to care for properly, okay? So the neglect could be if you got in a car accident, but you didn't buckle your baby in a car safety chair, and then your baby fly through the window. You're responsible for that. The spiritual realm is going to pick that up as a negligence on your part and a murder on your part, because you were the cause of that. So when somebody said, oh, Miss T, why would you say that? And somebody hit the car. Because if the ancestral realm said it's neglect on your part because you didn't buckle up the child, then that's what it is. Those are things we don't see with the naked eye. We ain't there. So I just want to explain that, because I have folks that come in my comment section and they leave rude comments. We know as spiritual readers and as messengers and as psychics, mediums, whatever you want to call them, we know that when certain messages come out, we know what it is. All right? That's it. Clarity into the messages, ancestors. Clarity into the messages. Somebody's crying about the accident, right? So somebody's crying about the situation that happened. Yes, is a caretaker back here. But also, not only do I have to look at crying because some things happen. So yeah, they devastated in here behind some things, but also some things is weighing heavily on them. All right. So mentally, some things is weighing heavily on them. Okay. You know why? And it's a situation behind that celebration too. We already know. Some things is weighing mentally on them. You know why? Because of the secret right here. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So we don't have to know we wasn't there. But I already know that I have someone who's connected to what happened to Trinity that is saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish if I had did this wouldn't have happened. You understand? And that's not, that's what's going on in here. Okay? So some things is weighing on someone mentally. Okay, family? You see the dance? That's the socialization in here. Don't matter who you socializing with. In this socialization, here's an addiction. Here's somebody having. So I got to look at somebody now. What is your addiction? People are addicted to many of things, right? But they socializing in here with mom. So mom is doing socialization in here. Some things is going on, right? Whatever may be going on in here, okay? Here's the victim. Here's the birth, okay? Here's some faded relationships. I want you all to pay attention to the time. Ancestors say somebody was victimized in here in some kind of way. Somebody had faded relations in here. So the faded relations is just saying that, you know, the relationship is fading away in some type of way. It could be because somebody is going to be on the other side, or it could be because of some other things, because maybe they got into some kind of altercation, okay? But it looked like somebody had an altercation at some point before this celebration took place, okay? And it looked like somebody was not in the right state of mind either. And it looks like I had people that may be involved in other things as well, but you could be socializing with somebody and not paying attention to other things as well, okay? The ancestor says in Trinity case is negligence involved. That's all, right? It doesn't mean because negligence happened that you meant for this to happen. That's not what it's saying. So don't take away from that. That's not what it's saying. But sometimes, family, we can pay more attention to something or someone and not pay attention to things that is meant for us to pay attention to at that time. Something else could catch our attention, and it only takes a split second for something to happen, right? And other things could happen too, where you failed someone in a way, right? So I hear that this baby was in the water. If she didn't have life safety measures on or anything into play, that's negligence on somebody's part if something happened. You understand? That's all. Right? Ancestors giving me confirmations because of the shift of energies in here. And people, I got to look at people mental well-being. Okay? Yes. And I have to look at the caretaker, whoever the caretaker was. Right? Because the caretaker doesn't always have to be mom and dad. The caretaker also could be the person who is overseeing them at that time, who is giving care to them at that time, who is watching them at that time. So a babysitter could be a caretaker as well. But it's negligence in here. That's the violations. Okay? That's it. All right? I'm going to go into this deck because I want to see what ancestors bring out. Although this is a history deck, family, we all know that history also could give us revelation into past, present, and future. Okay? Clarity, ancestors. Let's see. Woo, child, we're going to leave this out. Some DNA. I'm way behind, family. I will go and fix that. Whoop, child. I'll leave that out because that goes with the DNA, whatever just jumped out the deck. Whoop, child. We'll leave that out because so much messages want to come out. It just jumped out. I'm not going to tap into that. But, all right, family. First of all, here, what's going on in here? I got somebody in here that's holding a lot of this mental energy too, family, is brainwashing. So look along the line here. Somebody's being brainwashed too in some ways, okay? So I got somebody in here that's being brainwashed, all right? They want them to see their views as their views, and that's how they want them to tell whatever has happened, okay? Even if you feel a certain way, all right? So even if Trinity mom felt a certain way in a situation, I got to look at somebody also making her feel a certain way. Why? I don't know. Probably because I got this person in here, right? So this son in here. I also got to look at some other things because it looked like something happened because something also has been taken from somebody. Okay? So somebody's upset about that. So it could have been an argument earlier that day when something happened or at some point before this. Okay? This is just telling me about harsh mistreatment that resulted in this death. That's the accident that happened in here, right? During this celebration, okay? But the celebration isn't what people think. It could have been a breakup to make up kind of celebration. You understand? This right here going into here, I'm paying close detail to this caretaker back here because the ancestors giving me confirmation into something, and I got to look at to somebody they into some things, right? Whatever the some things that may be. All right, here go the victim, and you see the victim in the birth in here. So whoever's connected to this victim by birth, you see this educator failing to educate your child, because Trinity is the victim. Okay, Trinity is the victim in here. Okay, so who's connected to her as well? Failing to educate the victim on certain things. And I got to look at the tree of life, how you connected in here. So I got to look at the parent, the birth parent to this victim. That's negligence. If you fail to educate your child on certain safety techniques or things to do in the water, see, that's negligence. You understand? That's negligence. If you just take your child out there into the waters and you don't teach them about safety, that is negligence. You understand? So I want you all to understand why certain things come out. You see this educating, you see the leader of the tree of life? Yeah. So the spiritual realm in here, this message is conveying that you see that birth parent, whoever there that's connected to this victim by birth, no matter what somebody taught or didn't teach your child, you are the educator of your family in here. You understand? And failure to do so you can't blame nobody else but yourself. That's the message that the spiritual realm is relaying in here. Okay? Look like there's a lot of fading relationships in here as well. Let's see what these messages are that came out. Oh. Yes. This jumped out the deck. Okay? So, in Trinity case, all right, family, no, we don't expect these things to happen. No, we don't want these things to happen. No, we don't want to put people at the blame when they are grieving. Yes, this mother is grieving. Yes, I understand, and I am aware of that. But I'm going to say this, family, and I'm going to say this with all my heart, with the spiritual realm standing 100% behind me. If something happened to my child, okay, I'm gonna use me as an example. I was burning the candle in here the other day, and I was talking to the spiritual family about some things that happened with my candle, right? I had it in a separate room from me, burning it overnight, right? I had it in this vase, and the vase that I had it in, it wasn't meant for candles to be burning in, all right? So not only when the candle got down to the end, and because I had plenty of herbs in the candle, right? It burnt down all the herbs, and when the dish got so hot, it exploded, right? Remember, I didn't have the proper dish for the heat, right? It wasn't a proper dish for the candle, family. I want you all to listen. This is a true story that just happened to me. The dish exploded, family. And when the dish exploded, it could have burnt my house down. You understand? Now, if myself and my family would have died, God forbid, and that fire, because I was burning that candle, left unattended and not in the proper safety requirements, what is that saying, family? Does it mean that I'm deserving of what happened? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Does it mean my family is deserving of what happened because I burnt the house down with them in it? No. But it means that I was neglectful because I knew better to leave a candle unattended and in the wrong safety container, right? I have nobody to blame for it but myself. The ancestors saw fit to not allow my house to burn down. Because I took a picture and sent it to the family. If you could see, I had film from candle wax everywhere that could have ignited, right? It could have caught on fire. It could have caught on fire on my table, on my cloth that I had under it, on the paper that I had, on the rest of the herbs that I had around it. But it did it, right? It went out. It broke and it went out, right? I say that to say this, family. If something would have happened to my family, although I may be grieving, but I don't want to take away the fact that my actions of negligence caused that fire. You understand? And I don't want to take away any message from the spiritual realm. So if a message come out, whether I want to deliver it or not, I must deliver that message accurately and truthfully. Okay? Because it may be a message for my spiritual family where the ancestors may say, you need to watch your candle. And when I don't relay that message to you, and something like that happened to your family, then what? So it may be some really hurtful things that I may not want to say because somebody may be grieving in that moment, but it must be said. So although I could have burnt my house down, forget the house, but I could have lost my family in that situation. You understand? But it was an eye-opener for me. Because I said, ancestors, I know better. And the ancestors knew I knew better. That's why they allowed that fire to go out that was burning unattended and a vase that wasn't meant for heat to be in. You understand? So it was a message for me. So guess what I did? I threw everything away and I had to go and get something that was safe for a candle to burn in, right? Okay, then. That's all I'm saying, all right, family? Because I have folks that come up here and say, you shouldn't have gave that message. We got a grieving mother here. Yes, we maybe have a grieving mother, but somebody is going to learn the message so they won't be the next grieving mother, okay? You understand? We learn from people's mistakes. How are you going to learn from somebody's mistake if I'm not going to give the message truthfully and accurately? So I'm going to come up here and act like everything is peachy cream? No! It's negligence involved. And I hate to say that. And I'm sorry that it may sound bad for some that don't understand how the spiritual realm works. Because we just want to, people are grieving. We don't want to talk about the bad. We only want to see the good. But truthfully, family, we got to look at the good and the bad. You understand? All right. The DNA came out the deck, family. And I'm sorry you all have to hear that, but I have to put that out there. The DNA came out the deck. We have to look at this key to life. We got to look at the water element, okay? Something happened in here. We got to look at some things. We got to look at the white, right? It's just telling us about the light and things, right? We got to look at the great-grandparent. The great-grandparent just tells us, yes, it could be a great-grandparent, but it just lets us know about the history of something, how far back something has been going on. So people could be doing this. It's just the decades in here, right? So when we say the great-grandparent, that's just 2 or more decades, right? When we look at it on a physical level, right? Here's the reincarnate. So I have to look at this baby. I know that she is with the ancestors. She's sawing with the ancestors. I saw that in the first spread. We're praying, right? We don't stop praying, okay? We know that. But we also know that some things that's along her path, right? Here's her spiritual path and the physical path. You understand? Something happened here in this water, okay? This is all connected, right? So we got to look at some things that the ancestors brought out previously in her case and what the ancestors are bringing out currently in her reading, okay? It's just letting us know the history of some things. Not only is this baby going to be coming back, but she's soaring with her ancestors, right? She's in the spiritual, she's soaring with her ancestors. Some things happen in here. Some things happen in that water, right? And no matter how we see these things, right, we're still praying for the best, right? Everything is allegedly in here. I'm going to leave it at that. You all can look at the message and take it for what it's worth, okay? You all can look at the message and you can, whatever you feel like you got out of the message, you interpret it that way, what you got out of it, okay? But you all heard the reading. All right, family. So that's what's going on in Trinity case. That's what the ancestors brought through, okay? Somebody got also a history when it comes to water. So they may have knowledge of some things, but also this baby should have been educated. You saw what the ancestors brought out on some things. You understand? I picked that up in the first spread as well. All right, about this baby and her overall mental process and the things that was going on in there. And she may not have the ability to do some things because she's still a child. The second spread, the ancestors brought out exactly that, right? We got to educate our children on the proper safety in that water, okay? When you're taking your child swimming, it's negligence involved. You fail to teach your child some things properly, and it's not saying that it's her fault. That's not what I'm saying, right? We cause things, and we may not mean to cause it, but it can happen because we failed to do something properly. All right, family? That's all. Just like I told you about the candle. I failed to take safety proper measures with my candle. Okay? It could have been far worse than what it was. Right, family? That's negligence on my part. If something was to happen, it's not saying that I was deserving, right? Or my child or my children or my husband was deserving of what was a result of that fire that I could have caused. But it's saying that I was negligent in that, okay? All right. So I want you all to understand, sometimes it's not what we want to hear, but it's what we need to hear. And somebody else may need to know that message. They may need to hear it, okay? So when I have people saying that, I'm going to unsubscribe because I don't like something you said, there's going to be plenty after you who's not going to like what I said. Because guess what? When the ancestors say I'm going to speak about it, that's what I'm going to speak about. And nobody else in human form is going to make me go against what the spiritual realm is telling me to speak about as a messenger. So bye. You understand? Bye. I can't say it no other way, but bye. Sorry you feel that way, but bye. Okay? That was on this baby. We're still praying for her safe return. still praying for her parents who's grieving. We still praying. We don't stop praying. We still praying for their comfort, right? And healing energy. I'm not trying to be dismissive that I have a grieving, grieving family out there. I'm not. But it's other things that's going on in here that the ancestors realm is saying, take a look at. You understand? Take a look at. Yes, accidents do happen. Accidents can happen. We looking at the spread. Situations happen. But also, we have to educate too. All right, family? That's all. Okay? All right, let me look at this other case, family, before I get off of here. I got to look at Jack and Lily Sullivan. Let me see what family is saying before I go into this next case. Tangela said, yes, Miss T, people hate truth and accountability. Yes. Ebony said, a message within a message. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And that's the thing, right? Nobody want to hold nobody accountable. And nobody want to be held accountable for their actions. That's another thing, family. All right? All right, let's look at these babies, Jack and Lily. I got to go back over their spread to see whatever may be recurring that has come out, right? Message. But I did tap into, I know when I did this reading on this baby, and what I kept seeing was like a wooded area. I don't know. It's like a wooded area because I keep seeing like weeds, right? I feel like. All right, let's look into Jack and Lily because I believe it's both of them that's missing, right? Yes, the two children. Okay, let's look into Jack and Lily Sullivan, ancestors clarity into the situation regarding Jack and Lily Sullivan. Whoa, child, ancestors is just a speaking. We'll get that in a minute. This jumped down and this jumped down. Something happening there. Here I got violence, right? I'm gonna main thing is I said violence, and look into this happy, right? Because somebody is just going on with life as well. So let's just take a look to that. I'm also seeing the body here, but ancestors do this at the deck, right? I know I got some fighting struggles going on in here. Something happened, and I got this. So I got that. These babies, right? This is just letting us know that some things have been going on in here, and I have to actually look at the physical body of what may have happened to someone, right? So one of the children or both of the children, all right? Everything is allegedly. These are, and just pay attention to the secret. This came out. Somebody's trying to clean this up. And somebody could have been actually cleaning the physical body from something that happened. And I hate to say that, right? We're praying for these two precious babies. return and the overall well-being, okay? But a situation happened in there, family, that caused something, and I have somebody that's cleaning it up, right? So they backtracking and cleaning up their actions because they don't want to be implemented in something, right? Everything is allegedly that I speak of. I don't know these people. Oh, somebody was content with doing something. All right, look at the dismember in here. So this detachment that's going on in here, somebody was actually content with this, right? I got a lot of energy that tell me that somebody was content with that, right? And would bring a trauma here in this violence. So somebody actually did something to a body, right? And they're cleaning it up. But somebody caused that trauma to the body. So somebody did something resulting in this, but they trying to clean it up. All right. Here's the justice. Here's the wheel turning for this violence. Somebody could have been in the judicial system for some things before, for some behavioral issues before, but also somebody has done violence in a way to get back at somebody. Okay. This wheel is started turning. Okay. So it's turning for them. They trying to get back. All right. So they caused some trauma to get back for whatever. You see this solar eclipse and this love in this body? Yeah. This is into a battle in here. This is love. This is a relationship going on in here, right? Even self-love. See, somebody felt like they was going to bring trauma to somebody at a way of getting back at them, like revenge or something, because also it looked like somebody wanted to leave them. Okay? Somebody looked like they wanted to put an end to this relationship as well. So it's some other things going on in here. I know somebody going to say, Miss T, what this got to do with Jack and Lily being missing? Because Ancestors is bringing some things to light so we can have an understanding of why people may have done what they did or why something may have happened. Okay, I have no control over what comes out. I have no control over that. Right, family? Jack and Lily is in the area that what I'm seeing is a wooded area, family. That's what I'm seeing. A wooded area with like seaweed, not seaweed, Lord have mercy. Weeds, grass, okay, like that. That's what I'm seeing. That's all I can see. Even when I look in the sky, I see some, look like some branches going all up, or seaweed, not seaweed, excuse me, or weeds, but I'm seeing nothing but area of out there in the elements. That's what I'm seeing, right? Out there in the very wooded area. Just that's all I'm seeing out there. Even when I'm scrying, that's all I can see that's around. And this is me actually, like, that's all I can see. I can see a road off, but it's just like a long black road, right? So I know that is a road not too far off from this area. But that's all I could see. Trying to see if I could see anything else. I'm scrying right now, family, in case you all are wondering. Because the Ancestors is actually putting up some images. That's all I could see. I'm trying to see if I could see any landmarks or something that I could ID and say, this is what it... See, I don't know what this is. I don't know if somebody may be going over a bridge, and it may be some kind of bridge or some kind of thing going over this area where you can look down and see. But this is what it looks like. It looks like some kind of elevation, okay? Where maybe you can drive and you can look down and see like nothing but, like, say, deserted area, desert-like wooded area below you. That's the best thing that how I can describe it. Okay. So they may be under, like, it may be a trestle or something nearby. Okay, or some kind of thing where the elevation go up where cars could drive, but it goes up. Right? That's the one thing that I can describe that looks like it could be a landmark. Something for me to really focus on. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know the area, so I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Somebody in here is having fading relationships in here, right? I got a lot of laughter and happiness going on in here. So the disconnect in here, I got to look at somebody wanting to separate, right? These children and bring trauma, okay? And they did this in such a way, right? Look at the talent on the body, family. They did this, so it's a creation that they created here, right? With the soul or souls. They did it in such a way, family. Not only was they successful, right, at it, but they also wanted to give somebody karma for something. It's just weird, this energy. Yes, as I said, look deeper into the laughter and the happiness, right? Look deeper into that. Yeah, somebody in here being judgmental. What is this? Yeah, somebody in here being judgmental. Look at them. Races in here in this detachment. This is the reason why they did some things, right? They felt content in here doing some things. Look at the situation in here. That's as far as this person, you know, giving karma to someone. Look at the tower. Some things happen in here, right? So these things happen suddenly in here because of a fated relationship. So nobody expected this. Something just suddenly happened, right? Because of a fated relationship. So then I got to look at some illegal drugs that's going on in here. Somebody was putting some things to an end as well. And I got to look at some other things, right? Somebody also could have been into some kind of drugs as well. Okay, not just abusing it, using it, but they could be into some other things with drugs. Okay? So just want to say that because I know I have people trying to clean up their actions as well when it comes to this. And something happened in here, the ancestor says, right? Not only that, I got to look at this fight and struggles that happened and something that came out of it and somebody trying to clean it up. So I did pick up energy when I did meditate over this in this case, and you all could go and watch the first part, family. When I did the first reading on Lily and Jack, I did pick up some energy, like, I don't know, this person, it was like they wasn't alone. I picked up energy that it was some drugs being used, right? Somebody was with somebody. It was like two men energies that I kept picking up together. So something more happened, okay? Something more is going on. I'm just going to say that, right? Everything is allegedly. I'm going to go into the history deck, family. The history deck will still give us, you know, past, present, and future information. So we're going to look into this. Yeah. 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 All right. Look like ancestors wanted to bring out the same thing, and I was about how I separate these things. But I got somebody crossing boundaries, right? Because they ain't here. They got a faded relationship with somebody. They decided to act out in a violent way. I got a lot of serpent energy that goes on in here. I got to look at some things that they was doing that they don't want to come to the light as well. Not only that, I got to look at somebody ill will too towards somebody, right? They got a racist attitude, right? And it's disconnection in here, and it's probably because they don't hold no ties to them, right? As far as DNA wise goes, so they're not connected to them, okay? So they don't care how and which manner they do something or how they may react to your child or children, period, because they hold no ties to the child. This is another thing that's going on. I gotta look at, you know, people overstepping boundaries in here as well. They have a history of doing these things in here is what I have here. Again, I got somebody, here's the boomerang coming for somebody, so this is karma in here, and I got to look at the illegal drugs in here, so I got that too with the solar eclipse on top of it. This is a lot of powerful energy that tells me that somebody was doing some things. They was into some things, right? Some illegal things, whether they was using it, selling it, whatever that they was doing, okay? But something happened in here. And I got to look at, right? So some things went on in here. And I got to look at somebody getting retaliation, doing retaliation, right? Taking it out on the children. That's all, okay? That's the only energy I'm seeing is, yeah, the children are missing. Yeah, somebody could have taken them, but somebody was getting retaliation, okay? It looked like some physical things happened to somebody's person in here. So some physical things happen in here. You understand? Somebody's trying to clean this up. So somebody is also connected to what has happened in here. Okay? Trying to clean it up. So you're connected in here to what has happened. Overstepping some boundaries in here. These people holding multiple energies. That's what I picked up. I also, in the first read, I also picked up a lot of things that wasn't the best. Right? So you all could go back and watch that reading. Okay? But that's where I'm seeing these babies at. That's all I'm seeing. Right, family? Is a what it like area. Okay? I think I did give a... I believe I did give a location before, family, of these children, right? An area I gave before. So wherever that location is, because I don't really know the area, look at an elevation point where cars go up or whatever. Look like kind of like a little bridge or something like that. I don't know. And that's the area, right? That's where you closer to, because it looked like when I look up, I could see this. I could see this. So if people driving, they can actually see this area where the children are. So whatever this area is, that's where the children are. If you drive, you can look down. Oh, it looks so crazy doing the transition. All right, I'm gonna have to go out and come back in, family, so I can see what you all are talking about in here. Because I'm like really behind. Okay, let's see. Those kids out there, they just having a good time. Hi, Tiffany. Okay. That was Jack and Lily Sullivan. I got that to a parent and on the cards. Diva said, right, Miss T, it's like someone was bringing karma to someone, but I hate they use the children. Yes, Diva Styles, most definitely. Unfortunately, with some folks, family, children are not off limits with some people. All right, it's sad to say that, but the children should always be off limits, but why let's do this? I don't want that like that. I'm sorry, family. I'm trying to turn my phone back right. But it seemed like with some, I don't know why it's doing that, family. Family, y'all gotta excuse me because you all know that sometimes me navigating in these doggone things are not the best. It's not the best. Okay. Ebony said, cold world. Yes, most definitely. Right? We're praying for the safe returns of these babies, right? We're praying for the families that these children are found safely and returned to their family. But it's some things going on, and somebody, you know, did this because, yes, they wanted to bring karma to somebody. Not only that, somebody had ill will because they was being biased as well, racist in some type of manner, right, against these children. And they sometimes they could be racist because of what somebody or what your parent has done. So they take it out on you. So we know that they took it out on the children. Okay, they took it out on the children. All right, family. So we are praying for these babies. And I'm going to just leave that at that, right? Everything is allegedly in these reads that I have done. I have no control over the message that comes out, family. I have no control at all over it. But, yes, that's what I'm seeing that has happened in that case. Right, family? Feel free to leave your comments for those who's going to come and watch the replay. But be respectful. That's all I'm going to say. You're very welcome, Ebony. I love you all, family. And you all have a prosperous day, family. I'm getting off of here because I've been up here for, it's been a minute. I can't really see one here because this is way up there. It's hard for me to see it. But I want you all to have a prosperous day, family. Love you all.